Action.
Lights, camera, action, huh? So the man in front of me right now, this is episode 42, is here under his own will. We didn't have to force him. Very special guest, super excited to have him on. He is the guy who started it all and the man who has taught me everything I know, Ric Castro, my father and business partner. Welcome to the show, Ric.
Thank you.
You can look at me and look at that. All right, so let's start off. I love telling this story. I've told people this a bunch of times, but the first time you took me out to show me how to do a shoot, right? So let's start with that. So you want to tell your version of that story?
Yeah, I'm trying to make it a little short, but basically I was telling you to point the camera to where you want to take the picture to and use different settings, and hopefully one of the settings will work and will give us a good picture.
Yeah.
So in a nutshell, that's what it was.
Yeah, we took it out there. You had used it a few times, right? You had, how many shoots do you think you did before I went out with you?
Probably, I would say maybe 5, maybe 6, no more than that.
Yeah.
So I didn't have any experience.
No, the only experience I had with a camera was the disposable ones where you just rack it and that was it. So we went out and I'm like, he's like, yeah, just put one on all the settings. We'll hope one works.
Yeah.
And I guess it was a good plan, being that we didn't know what we were doing. But and then thank God for YouTube.
Yeah.
And it just kind of progressed from there. Like as it went on, we learned more. Ric was very instrumental in busting my chops. Never. It was.
Yes, I did. I still do.
Let's go back to the beginning. So for those of you who don't know, so Ric has a background in computers, database.
Yeah, by trade, I'm a programmer, Windows applications programmer, then moving to database development. And also I develop websites, web applications, and I'm still doing websites for our clients.
Where did the idea come from? Because you had the initial idea. I always tell people, I was getting done with school and you bought some camera equipment, said, let's start a business. But where did the idea come from?
Well, I think I was looking or searching or browsing properties. I don't remember why I was doing that, but somehow I came across this company called Virtual Vista. Mm-hmm. And they had this cool product, which was a virtual tour. So you could actually navigate through the different panoramas within the tour. And I thought that was very cool. And they had a good, I would say, program for people to become real estate photographers within their own system. So I thought that was a good idea. And I actually called them and set up a phone appointment with them and ended up buying the cameras and everything. And I was just ready to go. At the same time, I built the website, a very archaic website, which they had a template. But the thing that really, really got me going is the fact that now I have a product to sell. So I have a website, so I can sell a product with a website. So that was one of the major things that I kind of got me going.
So that was the first time you put that together. When you bought the camera equipment, you were starting this, you still had some kind of long-term vision, even at that point having no idea, because you bought 3 sets of equipment. You didn't just buy one camera.
I just wanted to get a team together, and I'll figure, okay, maybe we can get different people doing photography. Videos were not in the vision at that point in time, because we're talking about quite a few years back.
2006 is when we started this.
Right.
Almost 20
So
years.
videos were not a thing at that point in time. So yes, but the virtual tour, it was not embraced by everyone at that point in time because people were getting dizzy looking at it, and so they thought they were getting dizzy looking at it. And people were like, no, I don't like it. I just wanted photography, whatever. So it took a little while. And I remember telling you when people who are in business now in real estate, when they retire, the new people are going to embrace the new technology. And I think that's what happened.
For the most part, yeah. I mean, we were doing this for the agents out there to just give you a better perspective. So most of you know what Matterport is. And what we were doing back then was like the precursor to Matterport. So very much, I mean, the quality was based on the cameras you were using, but the same concept, not as fancy, but people were still putting listings in the newspaper when we started this. So so you're saying they weren't embracing the virtual tours, but they weren't even embracing the photography yet at that point.
Right. They didn't believe in that. They just said, we want to put the ad on the paper, and I believe that's what they believed.
Yeah.
And they did it that way.
Yeah. Now, we started from scratch, like no portfolio, nothing. So one of the things we did a lot of free shoots.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of phone calls, a lot of legwork, and a lot of our clients from back then, initial clients, we still have quite a few of them today. I think that's one thing that we're pretty good at is once we start with a client, we're pretty good at making that relationship last.
Yeah, yes. I think it's as a company, one of our major service is the fact that we provide service. We don't just take pictures, we deliver, and then that's it. For the most part, we keep in touch, and when people or our clients give us a call, we're there for them. They call me, they call you, they call the other guys also, and we take care of the clients.
Yeah, 100%. What, in your opinion, what do you think was one of the hardest things for us getting this going back in the day?
It was hard to advertise, and that was probably one of our, I wouldn't say a problem, but just to getting our us known in the field to the realtors. So what we did, we used to create brochures, and we used to, and like a postcards, and we used to drive all around here and giving those postcards to real estate offices for everybody to getting to know us.
You know, it's kind of a testament to the agents that gave us a shot back then because they were a little more forward thinking. And I think where you said like some of the older agents when they retire and the newer agents were going to embrace it. I think you're right there, but I think even some of the older ones are just kind of like, yeah, I know I need to do it, and it's kind of at this point. But we didn't have Facebook was still college. You needed a college email address to have Facebook back then, so like that was the only thing, but it wasn't used for business at that point. Right. So yeah, that was tough. What's one of your favorite things that you've seen us evolve to where we are now, like to watch? Like what's fulfilling? I don't know if that's the word, but just something that you enjoy, like seeing like, hey, where we are now versus where we were.
Going back 20 years, probably I didn't see it that way, but now I can see it because if I'm looking back to pictures that we took back in the days and pictures that we take now, it's like day and night. It's just unbelievable. The quality of the product that we put out now is great, and we do it all in-house. That's even more commendable, I would say. We don't send pictures to be edited anywhere else. We edit our own pictures. We harp on to getting the best quality possible. It's something I see it or you see it or even the other guys see it that is not right. We try to correct it and make it better.
Yeah.
We always want to be a step ahead of everybody else. Our pictures are cleaner. The composition of the pictures are also much better than they used to be, and I think we are top notch when it comes to that.
Yeah, I mean we've definitely definitely evolved from there. I think the fact that we do it in-house, one of the benefits, a lot of the competitors outsource that stuff to it's just a fact, negative or positive, however you take it. They're sending it to other countries to get it done. We're doing it here, and it's like, okay, if you have a request, hey, I need this thing photoshopped out or whatever, we're not on a timeline like other people might be, where there's like, hey, can't get it the change to you tomorrow. We can do that stuff fast. So that's a plus there. And I think the evolution of the pictures and stuff, because I remember, because you have being a programmer, you always had little tools and stuff, that software and things like that. And I remember watching a YouTube video where they were talking about Photoshop, and I'm like, I said, hey, Dad, can we get Photoshop? And you were like, as a matter of fact, I have it. So I got into Photoshop, and then it's just like, that was kind of a light bulb, and like kind of opened a whole bunch of doors to like just the photography got even better from there. I think it's just, it was cool. I never thought I'd be taking pictures. This was all your idea.
Yeah, but I think also that the fact that you became a real estate agent, I think that helped the business a lot, because then you get to see what the realtors need and how they approach their thing. So
that was your idea too. You pushed me.
Yeah, but you did it. You did it. You had to study for it. You became an agent. You learned, and you got burned a couple of times, but you learned. So.
Yeah, I think definitely. I always, to this day, I still tell people, it's a big help, because, other people who do what we do that don't have that experience, it's like, yeah, they can still provide the service, but the fact that we have that behind the scenes knowledge in-house, it's like, we understand everything that they go through. So even if it's not related to the specific product we're providing, we're also able just to understand what they go through and kind of work with them. Yep. Whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, like we're kind of in the trenches with the agents, like, and I think that's something that's invaluable for them. Talk a little bit more about, let's talk about the website, right? So you got the initial website down. It was what websites were back then. I don't think it was bad by any stretch of the imagination, but it's not what websites are now.
Well, the technology was not there to do different things.
Yeah.
WordPress
didn't exist.
No, WordPress was around, but it was not as sophisticated as it is now. And we basically, everything was HTML, a little bit of ASP, active server pages to get things going in a different way, a little bit of JavaScript. But the way they were presented on different screens, it was not like it is right now. Right now, all the websites need to be presented on a phone, on an iPad, on a regular computer. They have to look good either way.
Yeah.
But it was an old template that I used, and I made some modifications to it, and it worked.
Now I forget when we updated the website first, but one of the things that we did was we did some market research for ourselves, looked at what other people were doing, and one of the things that we didn't like about what we were seeing out there is that it was the websites were very convoluted. They were, it just wasn't. It was like we didn't enjoy using the other websites that we were seeing. So
yeah, no, I think one of the things that I still don't like on some of those websites is the fact that you don't know where you are in terms of whether you're ordering X or Y, and it's kind of at the end, I guess you have to pay, you have to do whatever you have to do, but you don't really know what you're getting, or at least to me, it's hard to see what am I getting for the money that I'm paying. Yeah. So you came up with the packages, and I think that is a very straightforward way to show the clients what they are getting or what they can get by adding more to the package.
And that also came with the real estate experience I had, that we were creating these packages with them in mind, and like, hey, certain types of properties benefit from this, and like we still do that. So even when we add or adjust packages, it's based on what the clients need.
Right.
And for example, one of our most recent packages, it has the stills, aerial stills, and floor plans. Right. Mm-hmm. That was born of what we were seeing is requests from
people
clients.
Requesting that, yes.
And it was a common combination of things that we offer that were like, okay, this is something people want. So we created that. Now, additionally, like we have, aside from the packages we have, if a certain client has a certain combination of things they want, we can accommodate that as well. But yeah, I mean, I think it's easy to use. You know where you're at. There's no BS.
Yep.
Now, I want to talk about the logo.
Yeah.
How'd you come up with that?
I have no idea. Actually, the eye that's supposed to be, it's an eye, but actually it was supposed to be a camera lens. So I was using an old tool, not Photoshop, but an old tool.
PhotoDraw.
I think it was PhotoDraw, yeah.
Yep.
Basically, I just figured out we're going to use that particular font. Rockwell, I think is the font, and the little camera lens in there, and tweak it many times until it came out to be what it is right now.
We needed a higher quality graphic at some point. And as simple as that design looks, what you did with the lens, the eye, there was a little bit of artistry in there because it was a pain in the ass to recreate that.
Yeah.
And we made like small tweaks to kind of just sharpen the thing. But over the years, it's like there's been points where we said, like, what about like maybe rearranging the layout of the logo and stuff like that to maybe modernize, and every time we just keep coming back, we're like, it's
just
good.
Leave it. Just leave it, yeah.
But we like it. Yeah. Both of us have had experience working in corporate jobs. Mm-hmm. And I think one of the things that we've always talked about is like operate professionally like a corporate business would, but also we try to provide the mom and pop, for lack of a better term, service. That
I think our main thing is the service. We always try to accommodate the customer the best way possible. Sometimes it's not possible, but we try. And when they call us, we're there for them.
Right.
They need something, we're there for them.
Did you think we would be where we are now back then? Did you see the potential for us to get here? And still growing, but
I saw maybe not where we are right now, but I saw the potential. Mm-hmm. I think about 5 or 6 years ago, I could see that more vividly than before then.
What's it like working with your son?
It's tough for two reasons. One is because if you're working for somebody who is not your family, it's kind of a little bit easier to say, you know what,
screw you,
or something like that. But when you work with family, it's different. It's different. You have to kind of compromise more often than not.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's a good thing because we pull this car the same way. We might vary on our thoughts or ideas, but at the end, we compromise and we make it work.
Yeah, I when people ask me about it, it's like when it blows up, it blows up.
It does.
I don't think you can overstate trust within there. It's like you said. I mean, it goes to we're pulling the horse in the same, or the horse pulling the cart in the same direction. But you hear horror stories about people working with partners and they get screwed and stuff. And it's, I don't think, knock on wood, I don't see that happening here.
No,
and even the people that we bring in, like, we've had some long stays, some shorter stays, but I think we have a good culture in here.
Yeah, I think we try to build that. It's not easy. But yeah.
You were still full-time working programming and stuff when we started this.
Yes.
Years ago. I was out, working, doing a lot of the stuff that we talked about. And then at one point we decided, like, this is it, we're doing this. And we basically gutted your basement and turned it into
an office.
Mm-hmm. And it was good for a while. I mean, it definitely did the job. But then we came and so like we're, all great businesses start in a garage or something, right?
Yep.
But then now we're in a very nice space, studio. Talk about making that move when we decided like it's time to rent space, and because that wasn't a hard decision, I guess, as far as like looking at it as it was the next step.
That was the right next step. We understood the fact that it was going to be an overhead in terms of the rental and things like that. But I think we both believe in our own ways that we need to get out of the environment that we were at that point in time, for many reasons. But I always thought that we need to have a little store somewhere, and you always thought that we had to have an office, and you were very keen on getting a space to where we can have a studio. And I think it worked out that way very well, actually.
Yeah. We were a little nervous when we first made the move because it wasn't, it was the overhead, but I think it worked out. So one of the things people will see when they go to our website is a dog at the top of the page. Mm-hmm. That specific dog is her name was Canella. She's no longer with us, but she was just, we added that. We thought it was a nice family touch, which, I mean, it kind of represents us. Yeah. And she'll always be there. But there is a picture behind you of Chula. She is
she was
the late Chula, and we used to lovingly refer to her as HR. And she was always, when we were in the house and working out of the basement, she would always, she was part of it. And I think incorporating those things for us, it just kind of goes to the personality of the business.
Yeah, like you said, we are, I guess, considered mom and pop show, but we don't think that way. We think in terms of
bigger,
how a company will work normally.
Yeah,
that's where we are.
What do you see in the near future for Virtual Vista, and maybe the long-term future?
I think we have to work through the AI stuff right now.
Yeah,
we're using some technologies with AI, which is very helpful. But we have to see what's going on in the near future because AI is moving at the speed of light right now. Mm-hmm. So, but I don't see that as going to affect us in a negative way, just because AI cannot go to places and take pictures or take videos. We still have to do that.
I think it's something everybody needs to embrace, unfortunately or fortunately. But I mean, I think our interactions with it so far have been positive.
Yep.
And I think we have a lot of things in the works to incorporate it more as we go along. And it's just kind of goes with every evolution we've had as a business has kind of been, we're always like taking into consideration the client. There's a lot of people who in any business that just kind of stand still, and then eventually, you either break or you don't. But it's kind of like Blockbuster and Netflix. If Blockbuster had the vision that Netflix had, Netflix probably wouldn't exist today.
Yes,
because they had some of the same services, and Netflix took it to the next level. So, I mean, I think we have to be forward thinking about what the clients need, listening to the clients, and I'm excited for it because for me it was always like push forward, let's build this. But I don't know if I have more of a vision now than I had before. You had the more long-term vision in the beginning than I did.
Well, I'm not sure about that, but yeah, I mean, I always thought that we were going to be where we are right now, and in my vision farther than that is we're going to be okay as a company and also as a service provider to the marketing industry in general, not only to realtors but also to any company.
Yeah, if I'm going to be honest, when I was young, I was young when we started this, and I did not take it seriously in the beginning. I don't think. I mean, it was not on my bingo board. Just doing this. Like I don't think I knew what I wanted to do, and this came up, and then there was just a point where something clicked for me, and I was like, yeah, this is it. I don't want to have a boss other than this one.
Yeah, but you do a lot of work. You work long hours. Not too many people know that. You work long hours. You're trying to, satisfy and accomplish all the work that needs to be done on a daily basis. Yeah. And I don't think this would be. We will never be here without you. So.
No. Well, I gotta. One of the biggest pieces that you handle is a lot of the behind the scenes stuff that is not something I'm good at or could do. So I think right back at you. I think that the two of us, we are where we are today because of what we've both done.
But also, I mean, we have to thank the guys who work with us.
Yeah,
Jay,
sure.
Connor. I mean, they do a great job, and they are part of us. I mean,
there's something to say about what those two in particular. They have intangibles. They in some way, just the way they are with the clients, and that's something that we've had in the past. We tried a few things, and one of the things we tried was to say, like, okay, can we expand by contracting out to other photographers? And what we learned through that process is that you don't have that friendly level of service with all of them all the time. Availability, reliability, and that's why a lot of our stuff is in-house. Everything is in-house because you give up too much when they're not in-house, when they're not employees. But we've been fortunate for Jake, he's in the field doing a lot of the shoots. He does a lot of the editing. Connor does a lot of our social media work, all those type of things, and they just have the intangible and the personality. They're excellent with the clients.
Yeah.
And that's something I think you can't teach. You can get skills from other people, but that is an intangible and it fits so well with how we want to service the clients.
Yeah. And if you see us on a daily basis, we mess around, we joke around, but we do our work.
I don't know, what else has stood out for you over the years? What's something else that you like about this business, don't like about this business?
I do like what I do in terms of my responsibilities within the business. I wish I could go out like you guys go and take pictures, but it doesn't stop me from doing what I'm doing. And I enjoy what I do, and I in the days like today, it's hot as hell outside. I'm happy that I'm not out there. You guys have to endure that and endure that. So sometimes it can be tough, and sometimes it's very cold, and you still have to do it.
Yep.
Sometimes rains, and you're still doing the pictures.
People ask me when I go up to the shoot, so do you want to start inside or outside? And I'm like, inside. In this wintertime, I want to get in where it's warm, and in the summertime, I want to get in where it's cool. I think there's something... karma, I guess. What do you have to say? When I say hard work, what does that mean to you?
It's only hard if you make it hard. But hard work is when you have a deadline, and even though you only have 2 hours to do it, you still accomplish that within 2 hours. But normally, it will take you twice the amount of time to do something. That's hard work.
For you, like doing hard work, like a lot of people look at hard work as, or even work these days, but they look at it like, hate it or whatever it is, but I've never been disappointed when I'm busting my butt. Like at some point, maybe in the moment you don't see it, but at some point you will see the payoff. Do you see it the same way?
Yes. Maybe the example that I gave you before was not a good one, but hard work is only hard work when you don't love it. I mean, we love what we do. I mean, we like what we do. So I guess I don't think I have a good example of what is hard work.
Yeah.
Work is work. I mean, I know a lot of people don't see it that way. A lot of people like to work for, so many hours, and after that, they just don't want to work, I guess. So maybe I shouldn't say that. It's just that is the way that the people are. I always work more than 8 hours, no matter what I did. Mm-hmm. So it never bothered me to work 12 hours if I have to, even more than that sometimes. But I guess I come from a different generation, and I see it differently.
Well, even Pop, your father. I mean, I think I grew up watching both my parents work their butts off, and thank you, because sometimes it's hard for me to understand the people who don't think that way.
But that's I mean,
it's not a negative. It's just an observation.
That's the way it is. I mean, I as an immigrant myself.
From where?
Originally from Argentina, but as an immigrant myself, it seems like when you come in from somewhere else, it's like it's the law written in your heart that you have to work your butt off. It just seems that way.
Just to highlight you a little bit more. So you I know he's excited about that one, but I'm bringing it up because I'm proud of you. I mean, I was lucky to have you as a dad, and you started before you got into programming, mm-hmm. right? You weren't given that opportunity. Back when you did it, the opportunity was not just like go grab it. You had to go. Or it was not like available like that. You had to like work up. Talk a little bit about like that story, like how you got.
I think one of the toughest part of my being here was the fact that I didn't speak the language.
Still doesn't. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
It's true. Even though you could do certain jobs, it was kind of hard to show yourself as a person who can do the job, especially when it comes to programming. It took me a while to get into the programming just because of that.
But didn't you have to, I mean, maybe I'm getting it wrong, but didn't you, you were working at, was it Towers Parent, right? When you got your first crack at it? Were you like a computer operator or something?
Yeah, I just took a job in the computer field. It was a computer operations job. Third shift.
But didn't that kind of like get your foot in the door in one way?
That got me the foot in the door, yes. And then I became an operator when I was a Towers Parent. Mm-hmm. And then this guy named George gave me a chance to become a programmer. And the rest is history. Man, like where you are like the American dream success story. Like you are an example of that. But no, but I mean, seriously, I mean, you started from nothing. I mean, you had jobs doing whatever you were doing. Yep. You had to fight to get that opportunity, and then you did, and somebody saw it in you, and you were really good at it. Now, he wanted me to get into computers, and I kind of initially took that path. I think my mind works that way, logically. I think I have the ability to think the way is required to do that. I honestly think you are more of a marketer than a programmer. You're right, but what I mean is like when you were teaching me some of the coding and stuff like that, I think I can pick it up, right? I could have done it if I could. Yeah, I could have done it. It just wasn't for me. Exactly. But I think that people always tell me I'm like kind of weird because it's like the people who think one way, they're like who are like the marketing and creatives don't think this way. And I kind of have like a hybrid in one respect when it's related to that. But I think a lot of the creativity comes from you. Not all of it, but yeah. Yeah. Some of it. I get other things from mom, but yeah. But I'm sure. But no, I think that comes from you. But yeah, I think I don't know. The reason I wanted to do this podcast, it's been almost 20 years. This won't be the last one now that I broke the ice with him. But I wanted to do it because one, just personally, we've been through a lot with this, and I think it's
it was cool to have you on, have this conversation with you. I mean, we've had little bits and pieces of this conversation.
Yeah. I don't know why I'm still a little nervous. I don't know why, but that's
Cameras
where I am.
rolling, but no, but I think in many ways, like, yeah, I know what I do is important to the business, but I think in many ways this doesn't exist without you.
And I think vice versa. I don't think I could have done it. You have the social skills needed to move forward and doing the certain things, the intangibles that I probably don't have or don't I care to have. So I'm more like a back end, like a database. It's always sitting in the back end doing all the work, but nobody sees it. You are the front end.
I think that's a good spot.
That didn't come out right. You can cut it. Nothing.
I think this is probably a good spot where we can wrap this up for now. Yeah. One thing we ask all of our guests to do at the end is leave us with a positive message to the world.
I don't know if I have one. Not right now. But
you're not the first to get stumped.
I think everything boils down to things are not going to come to you if you don't do something about it. I mean, you have to work for it. You have to want something. You have to be diligent. You cannot pretend that if you do one step, everything is going to come to you, or everything is going to result in a good thing for you. There's going to be up and down situation in your life. But the hope that I hope for everybody is the fact that everybody needs to understand that things don't come free. You have to work, period. You have to work.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ric Castro, my dad, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.